Conference. They want to seal up the MVP under the national bright lights at Lambeau for their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. I got to talk to him for a bit on NFL's Instagram Live just yesterday, and I was asking him about what would be his third MVP season.
This year, there's been a perfect storm of a lot of things that have come together. Obviously, 17 playing so well and being such a dominant force on the field has helped. The emergence of Robert Tonyan, Aaron Jones, and Jamal being so consistent as well in the backfield.
Have you and Mahomes talked about the State Farm MVP race?
No, we haven't yet. But I feel like, he's young. He's in his 20s still. He's got a lot of years left to figure this thing out. Maybe let's go for the old guy this year,
Yeah.
They're already trying to phase me out of the State Farm commercials. Hey, Pat, let me have this one.
Get your money while you can, Rodgers. Get it and run. The Packers are atop the NFC. They're sitting there in the 1 seed. Aaron Rodgers was all smiles yesterday. He's been all smiles all season. A lot of that has to do with the way number 12 has played, the way that all of his, he loves that Tonyan character as well. He loves all of his receivers, his running backs, coach. It's all gravy right now up at Lambeau. Is Aaron Rodgers the front runner, in your opinion, Nate, as far as MVP is concerned?
No. And this isn't me being dismissive to what Aaron Rodgers has done. Of course, that combination with him and Davante Adams, I don't think there's any better one. Actually, Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. But I'm glad I said that because I look at Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes as the two guys in that race. And it's okay. This is that type of year. This is 2020. We've been up and down all around all season long. In the beginning of the season, it was Russell Wilson, and I was screaming it from the rooftops. He's going to win it. I don't see anything happening that could change my mind. And then he had a couple of dips during the season, and consistently, just playing along, was Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. So as far as front runners, instead of saying there's one, I believe there's two, and they're the best quarterbacks in the business.
Yeah, I think Rodgers is having such a good time right now, and I've never seen him openly campaign for it, but I think he wants it. I think it matters, and he is the front runner right now. He's so dialed in. He's playing incredibly. And he's also lifting the rest of these guys. So when he goes out of his way to mention 17 and Robert Tonyan and the running backs, that is him every day. I talk to folks in that Packers organization, and they say the same thing. His attitude and his energy has lifted us so high that we are so dialed in as a unit, and we are a collective force. After that Colts loss, they could have been down. He was positive. Tells Marquez Valdez-Scantling, we're going to be all right. I trust you. I'll go back to you. And he's also having fun. We mentioned the gold member stuff earlier this week. We've talked about the Mercedes Lewis celebrations. He goes on Pat McAfee's show once a week with A.J. Hawk and Pat McAfee, and he's fantastic. Zach Wilson, the BYU quarterback, came out and was like, I love Aaron Rodgers' game, but I don't get my swag from him because, the clothes he wears, they're not for me. Rodgers comes out and says this, and it's like a mindset. You might as well put this on my tombstone someday. True swag is owning your inner essence. It's a mindset. My essence on the field is I feel like I'm a throwback player and I'm a tough guy. What I've played through, how I wear my stuff, I'm kind of a no-nonsense, straightforward. To me, that's what swag is all about. He says it in the interview with McAfee. It's great. He's like, these guys show up with Supreme hoodies and Louis Vuitton bags around their shoulders. They think they've got swag. They've got no swag. Swag is toughness. Swag is owning it. Swag is not being afraid to be who you are. Aaron Rodgers, he is so self-aware. He is having so much fun. He is so dialed in. He's the MVP right now, and he's going to let you know about it. That's how confident he is. I'm pulling for him. I think this is a cool year for Rodgers, and I feel like it's a different version of him than we've seen in previous MVP seasons.
He says, swag is not walking around with your shoes untied. It's not about having the Louis Vuitton fanny pack right across the chest. And he actually explained that's why he's got that old chin strap that we've always wondered about, this single snap thing. He's like, I'm old-fashioned. That's how I do it. And it is cool. And he's having an old-fashioned Aaron Rodgers performance from about 10 years ago this week. But this is dead heat, guys. And this is an awesome MVP race. This is the time to talk about it. A lot of years, it's a wrap. Mahomes, Lamar, Cam Newton, Peyton Manning one of those years, Rodgers last year. It's a wrap. There's no debate. There's no segments to be made of it. I think it's a dead heat between Mahomes and Rodgers. And make no mistake, One 225-yard game by Derrick Henry, he's in it. Josh Allen wins out, lights it up. He could be in it, but it's so close right now between Mahomes and Rodgers that, like, if they're in the red zone and Rodgers hands off for a touchdown to Jones instead of throwing one to Devontae and finishes with 2 instead of 3, that could be the difference. It is a hair. And if I had to pick it now, I would pick Rodgers as well. I would pick Rodgers. I think he has a higher degree of difficulty. I think if you were to drop him in with Tyreek and Kelsey and Andy Reid and Bieniemy and that whole thing, I think he would go ballistic. And let's not forget, Patrick Mahomes has a first-round draft pick who is a running back who's been catching, who's been running, who's been a great asset for them in Edwards-Helaire. Aaron Rodgers' first-round draft pick has been in street clothes all season and does nothing to help him whatsoever. All right? He jokes, sort of, that they're trying to phase him out of those insurance commercials. Well, they're also trying to phase him out of the Packers. And guess what? He's still the best player in the world. It's a race. Mahomes could still win it, but I have to call it now. It's number 12 with the old chin strap.
So much more Good Morning Football up ahead. We've got Mad Minutes. We've got to talk Saturday doubleheader. We've got Pigskin Picks Top 5 Friday for your fantasy needs. All right. Plastic Hearts is available everywhere. Oops, you caught my dancing there at the end. Love that she was on the show. Love that we're having these NFL artist takeovers. And love the Wrecking Ball Derrick Henry segue that we're going to steal from MJ there. And talk about the Titans taking on the Lions. That's Miley's hometown team, of course, welcoming Detroit to town. Derrick Henry's probably, guys, this is insane, going to break his career high for rushing yards in a season. Likely to do it this week. Schrags, does Henry have a legitimate shot, though, at the MVP this year?
It's really difficult, Kay, because you've got these two Titans at quarterback, and I'm not being with a pun here because she's a Titans fan, but I'm talking about Mahomes and Rodgers, and everyone usually gives it to the MVPs.
Yeah.
But if Henry can go for 2K and they win out, and maybe even goes for more than 2K, there's a chance that Derrick Henry's the guy. I would say this, Miley Cyrus, her age range, I'm seeing her more of an Eddie George, Yancey, Thigpen, Steve McNair person than necessarily Tannehill Henry in this bunch. Love that interview. MJ Acosta did a great job as well.
Yeah, shout out to MJ. She killed it. I do believe that Derrick Henry has a chance to be the MVP. But more importantly, though, because with them being legit and Derrick Henry being the best running back in football, I'm pretty sure we can put that together and say he should be in the conversation. I think it's just great that Derrick Henry is having a career year in the same season that Christian McCaffrey got paid and he got banged up. Not his fault. Ezekiel Elliott got paid, and he's not being the back that we thought he'd be. Because there's this narrative, you shouldn't pay running backs. Well, you know what? Derrick Henry is a prime example that you shake the dice, you throw it, and hope it lands on a guy like this. And Derrick Henry proves why you should pay a running back big-time money.
I don't know. Be careful. There are not a lot of Derrick Henrys out there, Nate. Be very careful still doing it. Derrick Henry is a different dude. Kay, you mentioned he's going to break his career high this week, most likely. I just hope he doesn't break my heart, my achy, breaky heart. I just don't think you understand. Yeah. But I understand this. Peter's on it. Listen, if you finish 12-4, what's up, Billy Ray? If you finish 12-4, meaning you win out, and you get that about 160 yards a week to get to 2,000. 2,000 is a game changer. Mahomes and Rodgers, of course, they're front runners. You're going to tell me a 2,000-yard rusher on a 12-4 team is not the MVP of the league, the most irreplaceable? I think he can do it, but nothing short of 3 wins in 2,000.
That's what Adrian Peterson had when he won it back, of course, in 2012. At this point, to not give it to a quarterback, a guy needs to do something transcendental. I am completely with Kyle on this one. He's got to surpass 2,000 yards to grab this thing. Okay, more Good Morning Football, guys, on the way. Devin White.